This document and video is on Crown Seals. Royal Coat of Arms. Those lawfully have Crown authority to use the Royal Coat of Arms. Governor-General and Commander-in-Chief. This is only when his commission is granted under letters patent constituting the office of Governor-General 29th of October 1900, as well as being under our primary law, Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901 as proclaimed and gazetted. All Crown Courts, federal and state, that are established under our primary law, Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901 as proclaimed and gazetted, and are bound to Clause 5, operation of the Constitution and laws. This Act and all laws made by the Parliament of the Commonwealth under the Constitution shall be binding on the courts, judges and people of every state and of every part of the Commonwealth, notwithstanding anything in the laws of any state. Public functionary seals have no Crown authority to be used to change a bill to an Act and give it Crown authority. Commonwealth Public Functionary Seal below. Commonwealth of Australia. This Commonwealth Public Functionary Seal is used in conjunction with the Executive Government for subordinate legislation, anything where the Executive Government has authority to regulate and has the authority from the Act to make that regulation, etc.
Before we go any further on that, can we go back to the top there? Now, this Royal Coat of Arms at the top here is royal assent that can only be used by a Governor General representing the Crown and by a State Governor representing the Crown. When you turn around and you use this seal, you use the royal enacting manner and form to go with it. That creates total royal assent. The seven main people that can use this seal is the Governor General and 6 state governors, all representing the Crown.
This Commonwealth Public Functionary Seal is used in conjunction with the Executive Government. I've already read that, haven't I?
That's all right.
Where are we? Alright, all these seals have royal warrants as public functionary seals. New South Wales on the left, the next to the right is Victoria, South Australia and then Queensland. Then under that you've got Tasmania on the left, Western Australia on the right. All 6 state governor in councils in conjunction with their state executive governments use the above public functionary seals for subordinate legislation, anything where the executive government has authority to regulate and has the authority from the Act to make that regulation, etc. All the above seals can only be used for what would pass the seal. All the above are within our primary law, Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901 as proclaimed and gazetted, and under this constitution the 6 states are all original states with Crown authority. Total treason. Political parties are not within our primary law, Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901 as proclaimed and gazetted. Treasonous Commonwealth political parties now owned and control the Governor-General and Commander-in-Chief from 1960 forward. In 1973, the very first act the treasonous political parties changed the enacting manner and form, therefore removing Crown authority. Year 1972. Be it enacted by the Queen's Most Excellent Majesty, the Senate and the House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Australia, equals Crown and constitutional authority. Then in 1973, be it therefore enacted by the Queen, note that Most Excellent Majesty and Commonwealth has been removed, the Senate and the House of Representatives of Australia, In 1973, treasonous political parties changed the constitution and official definitions. This created an Australia Commonwealth, means their Commonwealth of Australia in a geographical sense, outside our primary law, Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901 as proclaimed and gazetted. This was done behind everybody's back. Under these changed constitutional definitions, these so-called Commonwealth political parties created a parallel system of parliament to ours. They created a Queen, Governor-General, Parliament, government, courts, police, citizens and land using their definitions, all abstract. Then the Oxford Dictionary meaning for abstract. It's an adjective, theoretical rather than physical. To create a seal for this treasonous political party Australia, they defaced the Royal Great Seal of the Commonwealth of Australia, which had a royal warrant, which equals treason. The treasonous political parties now have an abstract Queen of Australia, Governor-General of Australia, Parliament of Australia, Government of Australia, Family Court of Australia, Federal Court of Australia, High Court of Australia, Federal Police of Australia, Australia Citizens, and Australia in metres, all under the Queen of Australia, and all under the Great Seal of Australia, all sitting in treason. The contrary intention has never appeared, so all the above are there to this day. This treasonous political party's so-called abstract country, under their status of their Commonwealth of Australia as a sovereign, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense, equals total treason. And this is the treasonous political party's Great Seal of Australia, with their Roman wreath underneath their Australia.
Now, if we go to the coloured shield on the left-hand side, we start off with New South Wales. That is, as far as I can know, the right emblem for New South Wales. The centre point is Victoria. They've changed their system of the imperial crown to a St Edward's crown or a royal crown, whatever they want to call it. Now, the word imperial links you to the British Empire, so they've taken that link out. Queensland has done this exactly the same thing by changing. They created their own private seal in Queensland in 1997. So this shield is being changed. Now we go down to the red lion. That is Tasmania. That's still there. The black swan is still there. And the one on the left there for South Australia, that was done by the Queen of Australia. That's total treason. And by being able to change the system, they've been able to have it trademarked because it's outside the royal system. This is just making their Australian Republic.
Alright, this Great Seal of Australia is registered United States Patent and Trademark Office, US serial number 89000533. This Great Seal of Australia is a total fraud, and all acts under it are a total fraud. The Great Seals of Australia, the protection racket for pedophiles.
Now you've got the High Court. They're pathetic. I don't know, pieces of shit, being polite. Same with the Federal Court. And you've got the Elizabeth II, the Queen of Australia, and then you've got the Royal Commission. How can you have a Royal Commission under treason? And there's no royalty within their system. So the word royalty is just a con job of trying to get people to think that we're still under the Queen and where we have all our rights known to mankind. This is just total treason, the whole lot of this.
All people under these seals sit in total treason. all under the treasonous political parties changed constitutional definitions. All states created and joined this act of treason. Australia Acts Request Act, 1985. An act to enable the constitutional arrangements affecting the Commonwealth and the states to be brought into conformity with the status of the Commonwealth of Australia as a sovereign, independent and federal nation. Seals for these treasonous acts: New South Wales, Queensland, Tasmania, South Australia. Governors used the royal coat of arms for an act that would not pass the seal, which equals treason. Western Australia didn't use a seal. Victoria used a fraudulent public functionary Victorian seal as the treasonous political parties had joined the status of the Commonwealth of Australia as a sovereign, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense in 1975 by the Constitution Act 1975, enacted by the Queen of Australia, equals treason. Enacting manner and form: New South Wales, Queensland, Tasmania, South Australia and Western Australia used the royal enacting manner and form. These so-called state governors are using Crown and constitutional authority criminally. All states had similar enacting manner and forms. Be it therefore enacted by the Queen's most excellent Majesty, by and with the advice and consent of the Legislative Council and the Legislative Assembly of Western Australia, in this present Parliament assembled, and by the authority of the same, as follows. Victoria just used. The Parliament of Victoria enacts as follows. Total treason. The above enacting manner and forms are for the Australia Acts Request Act 1985. All state governors and all state parliaments know exactly the treason they are enacting. First schedule: be it therefore enacted by the Queen and the Senate and the House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Australia as follows. Second schedule: be it therefore enacted by the Queen and the Senate and the House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Australia as follows. Schedule: be it therefore enacted by the Queen's most excellent Majesty, by and with the advice and consent of the Lords Spiritual and Temporal and Commons in this present Parliament assembled, and by the authority of the same, as follows. Between these three schedules is the changing of definitions. First schedule: interpretation 16.1. In this Act, unless the contrary intention appears. Australian court means a court of a state or any other court of Australia or of a territory other than the High Court. This is our High Court. Court includes a judge, judicial officer or other person acting judicially. Judge, judicial officer or officers of the court, lawyers, liars, and their police, mercenaries. Governor, in relation to a state, includes any person for the time being administering the government of the state. This governor doesn't represent the Crown, can't give royal assent.
This governor, they have demoted the governor, which is total treason itself, because a governor that for the time being administering the government of the state is the Governor and Council. As explained earlier, when they've turned around and created the governor doing this, they've admitted that they can't have Crown within their sovereign, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense. They've just turned around and demoted the governor to the Governor and Council, but use the same word governor in the pretense that we still have a governor with Crown authority. This is an act of treachery, treason by demoting the governor, which they don't have the authority in which to do so.
State means a state of the Commonwealth, and includes a new state. Under their definition of Commonwealth, a state is a sovereign, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense. Second schedule brings forward the schedule and all their treason without a referendum, an act to give effect to a request by the Parliament and Government of the Commonwealth of Australia, whereas the Parliament and Government of the Commonwealth of Australia have, with the concurrence of the States of Australia, requested and consented to the enactment of an Act of the Parliament of the United Kingdom in the terms hereinafter set forth. Schedule Interpretation 16.1. In this Act, Australian Court means a court of a state or any other court of Australia or of a territory other than the High Court of Australia. The other name we use for our High Court of Australia. Within our primary law, Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901 as proclaimed and gazetted, the name High Court of Australia is used once in section 71. The rest of the time it is referred to as the High Court. In the Judiciary Act 1903 number 6, the word High Court of Australia is used once when the judiciary are giving their oath. The rest of the time it is referred to as the High Court. By doing this, the treasonous political parties have removed both the names within our acts. In their High Court of Australia Act 1979 number 137, under their definition of their Australia, to create this private treasonous political party High Court of Australia, they repealed sections 4 to 14 at Part 2, Constitution and Seat of our High Court, from the Judiciary Amendment Act No. 2, 1979, Act No. 138. Court includes a judge, judicial officer, or other person acting judicially. Judge, judicial officer, or officers of the court, lawyers, liars, and their police, mercenaries. Governor, in relation to a state, includes any person for the time being administering the government of the state. This governor doesn't represent the Crown, can't give royal assent. State means a state of the Commonwealth and includes a new state. Under their definition of Commonwealth, a state is a sovereign, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense. Seals of treason for states within their sovereign, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense. New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia, Queensland, Tasmania and Western Australia. All the seals.
See how these seals have changed. You've got South Australia sitting there. Victoria's changed theirs. South Australia, Queensland's changed theirs. Tasmania hasn't changed, but these seals can't be used for an act for a bill to become an act by a governor representing the Crown. So they've demoted the governor to subordinate legislation and still call him the governor in the pretense that they still have authority. But these governors are using these seals for acts, or should say for bills to become acts, which is treason.
Treasonous political party courts within their sovereign, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense.
You've got the Supreme Court of New South Wales with a public functionary seal for subordinate legislation. You can't use that seal in a court system. It's not, the Supreme Court using that is acting way outside their authority. They're a private system. You've got the Supreme Court of Victoria using the Royal Coat of Arms. They lost using that Royal Coat of Arms in 1975. So therefore, that Victoria is a sovereign, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense. It's just fraud that they're using a seal for what would not pass the seal in the pretense of making us think they still have Crown authority. It's the same with the Supreme Court of South Australia. That South Australia is in a geographical sense federal, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense. They're using a seal for what would not pass the seal. The Supreme Court Queensland, they're just using their fraudulent copy of a public functionary seal. And you've got the District Court of Western Australia. That's a public functionary seal. These seals are not meant for this system. This is just courts proving they know what they're not, but because they can't use the proper seals and the proper definitions of their states.
So, all these state names are under their sovereign, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense. New South Wales, sovereign, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense. Queensland, sovereign, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense. Tasmania, sovereign, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense. South Australia, sovereign, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense. Western Australia, sovereign, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense. Victoria, sovereign, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense. From 1985 forward, treasonous political parties have created a dictatorship under their control. You own nothing and you will do as you are told. Kim Beazley in Federal Parliament in 1990, quote, "The United Nations has given the federal government a mandate of ownership for housing, property, farms and businesses to government control once the Republic has been proclaimed. Political parties claimed a Republic by the Australia Act Request Act 1985, which equals treason." Alright. The above 6 so-called Queensland governors all sold their souls to the treasonous political parties, all appointed by public seal of the state. The state has taken ownership of the Crown. Therefore, all 6 governors sit in treason. These treasonous governors have no Crown and constitutional authority, therefore can't give royal assent to any act. All states are the same. That's why every state parliament tells us all acts from 1986 forward are only purported acts with purported enactments. Walter Campbell was the so-called governor of Queensland that sold his soul to the treasonous political parties and enacted their Australia Acts Request Act 1985, number 69, and purportedly gave it royal assent. And you've got the Parliament of Queensland on the left, by the people, for the people, with a traitor standing in front of a treasonous flag in the centre, and then treason on the right hand side with the Queensland Parliament.
Can we just go back to that picture? See, the Parliament of Queensland, okay, by the people, for the people, but that Parliament of Queensland, the of is belonging to, so you've got a Parliament belonging to Queensland. That was our Parliament, which was under a proper governor to use that seal. Now we've come in 1992, they changed the system around under their sovereign independent federal nation to Queensland Parliament. It's got no Crown or constitutional authority, and you've got these clowns like sitting in the middle there, Palachuk, enforcing treasonous laws over the people.
Pile of shit. Alright. Treasonous political parties are telling us to our face. Constitutional Commission, 1988. Proposed alteration to the Constitution. There are 44 so-called bills like these. Total treason, mens rea.
Mens rea.
Rea. Guilty minds. There's their beautiful fraudulent seal. Constitutional Commission. Signatures are from Volume 1. Dear Attorney General, in accordance with our terms of reference, we present our final report on the revision of the Australian Constitution. Yours sincerely, Sir Maurice Byers, CBEQC Chairman, Professor Enid Campbell, Sir Rupert Hamer, and oh, look at that, Mr. Whitlam, and Professor Leslie Zines. Right, Volume 2. The treasonous political parties are still trying to get their Queen of Australia recognised, as they have been using Queen of Australia since 1973. Bill number 1. A bill for an act to alter the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act by omitting obsolete words and so as to recognise the Queen of Australia. Be it enacted by the Parliament of the Commonwealth of Australia with the approval of the electors as required by the Constitution as follows. Short title. This Act 1. This Act may be cited as the Constitution Alteration, Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act, 1988. Omission of enacting words. 2. The Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act is altered by omitting the words, be it therefore enacted by the Queen's most excellent Majesty, by and with the advice and consent of the Lords Spiritual and Temporal and Commons in this present Parliament assembled, and by the authority of the same as follows. An Act to extend to the Queen's successors. 3. Section 2 of the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act is altered by omitting the words the United Kingdom and substituting the word Australia. Operation of the Constitution and laws. Number 4. Section 5 of the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act is altered by omitting all the words after and including and the laws of the Commonwealth. Repeal of Sections 7 and 8. Number 5. Sections 7 and 8 of the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act are repealed. All this can be found on these two blue links, Volume 1 and Volume 2. And the treasonous political parties, their oath to their abstract Queen of Australia. Bill number 2. A bill for an act to alter the Constitution so as to require senators and members of the House of Representatives to take oaths or affirmations of allegiance to the Queen of Australia. Be it enacted by the Parliament of the Commonwealth of Australia with the approval of the electors as required by the Constitution as follows. Short title. 1. This Act may be cited as the Constitution Alteration, Oaths and Affirmations of Allegiance, 1988. Schedule 2. The Constitution is altered by omitting from the schedule thereto the words of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland and substituting of Australia. Interesting how they tell us they need a referendum, even though they have done it all behind our backs without a referendum. Considering Whitlam in 1973 created the abstract Queen of Australia, this voids all acts for their enforcement are void. Australian Electoral Act 1973, Australian Citizenship Act 1973, Family Court of Australia Act 1975, Federal Court of Australia Act 1976, Australian Federal Police Act 1979, High Court of Australia Act 1979. Every act has the word Australia within. This Australia is under their treasonous political parties' changed constitutional definitions in 1973 to a sovereign, independent and federal nation in a geographical sense, was enacted to the power of the abstract Queen of Australia. More treason.